The Forgotten Heir. The asteroid installation hung in space like a teardrop of obsidian against the violet nebula, its surface reflecting little of the nearby star's light. Unlike the gleaming corporate headquarters of Galactic Industries that orbited Prism Prime, this sanctuary existed on no official star charts, its location known only to a handful of trusted individuals. Inside the asteroid's hollowed interior, Zora Keth studied her reflection in the polished crystal wall. The luminous fractal patterns had spread further across her right shoulder overnight, tiny prismatic structures that caught the light and split it into impossible colors. She traced a finger along the boundary where cobalt skin met crystalline growth, feeling the familiar ache where organic tissue fought its transformation. "Your morning readings, Heir Keth," announced her medical attendant, a spindly Xanthi named Vespin whose 4 eyes blinked in careful sequence as they approached. "The progression rate has increased by 0.7% since yesterday." Zara turned away from her reflection, the silken robes she wore rustling as they settled over her transforming body. "And the estimates? At current progression, you have approximately 4 standard months before the crystalline structure reaches critical neural pathways." Vespin's voice remained clinically detached, but the subtle drooping of their secondary antennae betrayed concern. 8 years she had fought this battle. 8 years since the accident that had claimed her parents' lives and left her changed. 8 years watching her Uncle Drav take control of Galactic Industries, supposedly as her regent until she recovered. But she would never recover, not by conventional means. "The human arrives today," Zara stated, moving to the oval viewport that looked out into the violet depths of the Whisper Nebula. "Has my uncle been informed?" "No, Heir Keth. As instructed, this initiative remains classified under your personal security protocols." Zara nodded. After dozens of specialists, hundreds of experimental treatments, and years of isolation, she was pursuing this final option without her uncle's knowledge. If he discovered she had reached out to a human scientist, one whose controversial research had been rejected by every respectable institution in the Galactic Alliance, he would immediately intervene. Drav Keth believed humans were intellectually promising but dangerously unpredictable, their homeworld having only joined the Alliance 50 years ago. "Prepare the laboratory and clear all personnel except yourself and Security Chief Knox. I want our guests' arrival to be discreet." The transport shuttle docked with minimal ceremony at the asteroid's hidden hangar. Dr. Maya Harrison stepped through the airlock, a single duffel bag slung over her shoulder, her dark eyes immediately taking in every detail of the cavernous bay. At 38, she carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who had stopped caring about institutional approval years ago. "Dr. Harrison," greeted Vespin with formal precision, "welcome to Installation Obsidian. I am Medical Attendant Vespin." Maya nodded, brushing a strand of silver-streaked black hair from her face. "I was told I'd be meeting with Zora Keth directly. Heir Keth will receive you once you've been cleared through security and oriented to our facilities. Your equipment arrived yesterday and has been installed according to your specifications." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Someone actually followed my specifications. That's a first." The Xanthi blinked in their sequential pattern, uncertain how to respond to the human's dry humor. "This way, please." The laboratory exceeded anything Maya had worked with on Earth or the Alliance stations, where she'd held brief appointments before her methodologies became too controversial. Pristine surfaces of polished metal housed equipment that seamlessly blended the technology of a dozen species, some of which she recognized from research papers, others entirely unfamiliar. "Your access is limited to this laboratory, your assigned quarters, and common areas designated by blue lighting," Vespin explained, indicating a holographic terminal. "All other sections require." "They require permission I don't have," Maya finished, already examining a molecular assembler. "I understand. I'm here to do a job, not explore. You're here because conventional approaches have failed." The voice came from behind them, soft but commanding. Maya turned to find a figure standing in a doorway that had silently opened. Wrapped in layered indigo robes that concealed most of her form, Zora Keth entered the laboratory. Only her face was visible, the left side a striking cobalt blue with delicate ridges where a human might have eyebrows, the right side partially overtaken by crystalline growth that refracted light in mesmerizing patterns. Maya didn't flinch at the sight. Instead, she studied Zora with clinical interest. Silicate transformation with quantum crystalline properties. Progressive or stabilized? Progressive, Zora replied, surprised by the human's matter-of-fact reaction. 8 years, 3 months, and 17 days since initial exposure. May I? Maya gestured toward Zora, asking permission to approach. A moment of hesitation. Then Zora nodded. Most specialists had maintained strict distance, viewing her through scanners and instruments. This human wanted to see up close. Maya circled Zora slowly, her gaze analytical rather than pitying. The boundary areas, do they cause pain? Constant. The neural interfaces between organic tissue and crystalline structure are incompatible. My body tries to reject the transformation, but cannot. Because it's not an invasion, Maya said thoughtfully. It's an evolution. Your cells aren't being replaced. They're being upgraded, but without a proper interface protocol. She stopped in front of Zora. Your previous doctors tried to reverse the process. Every approach imaginable. Vespin interjected, 4 eyes blinking in agitation. The finest minds in the Alliance have attempted to halt or reverse the crystalline progression. Then they fundamentally misunderstood the problem. Maya stated, walking to a holographic display. I reviewed the data you sent. This isn't a disease to be cured. It's a transformation lacking the proper transitional architecture. Zora's eyes narrowed. Explain. Maya activated the display, pulling up molecular models with casual gestures. Your accident exposed you to experimental quantum state materials your parents were developing. These materials weren't attacking your cellular structure. They were integrating with it, creating a hybrid state that has properties of both organic life and crystalline structures that can manipulate quantum information. She expanded the display, showing cellular models. The problem is that your nervous system can't properly interface with the crystalline structures. It's like trying to run quantum software on analog hardware. The signals get distorted, creating pain and instability. This is consistent with our findings, Vespin acknowledged reluctantly. But the solution isn't to reverse it, Maya interrupted. It's to complete it properly. You need an interface layer, a biological quantum translator that can speak both languages. Zora moved closer to the display, studying the models. Beneath the concealing robes, her partial crystalline hand gleamed as she reached toward the hologram. You propose to accelerate my transformation rather than stop it. I propose to guide it, Maya corrected. To create pathways that allow your nervous system to communicate seamlessly with the crystalline structures. You wouldn't be losing yourself to the transformation. You'd be integrating with it, controlling it. Silence fell over the laboratory. Vespin's antennae twitched with clear agitation, but they remained silent, awaiting their employer's response. Finally, Zora spoke. Every specialist has promised a cure, Dr. Harrison. You promise something different. Acceptance and adaptation rather than restoration. I don't believe in returning to what was, Maya said simply. I believe in evolving toward what could be. Your condition isn't a failure to remain as you were. It's an incomplete bridge to something new. Zora turned toward the viewport, looking out at the nebulous swirling colors. 8 years of pain and isolation, of treatments that treated her transformation as something to be feared and reversed. 8 years of watching her uncle consolidate power while she remained hidden away, a secret shame to the Keth dynasty. Your approach was rejected by Alliance institutions, she said, still facing the stars. Because it challenges fundamental assumptions about species integrity, Maya replied. The Galactic Alliance maintains strict boundaries between species. My work suggests those boundaries are more permeable than most are comfortable admitting. Zara turned back, her expression resolute. You have 3 months, Dr. Harrison. In that time, my uncle will complete the legal maneuvers to have me declared permanently incapacitated, transferring full control of Keth Industries to himself. I can create a preliminary interface system in that time, Maya said. But I need complete access to your medical history and full cooperation. This isn't something I do to you. It's something we develop together. For the first time since Maya's arrival, something like hope flickered in Zara's expression. You would make me a partner in my own transformation. You already are. I'm just providing the tools for you to direct it. Vespin let out a small sound of concern. Herr Keth, this approach carries incalculable risks. No one has attempted to create such an interface, and no one has survived 8 years with quantum crystalline integration, Zara countered. We proceed with Dr. Harrison's methodology. She faced the human directly. You will have everything you need. As Zara departed, Maya turned back to the laboratory equipment, already mentally designing the interface that would bridge organic neural networks with crystalline quantum states. This was exactly the opportunity she had been seeking, not just to prove her theories, but to help someone transform pain into potential. She has suffered greatly, Vespin said quietly beside her. Many have exploited her desperation with false promises. Maya met the Xanthi's four-eyed gaze. I don't promise cures, only possibilities, and I see tremendous possibility in her. What do you see that others have missed? Maya smiled slightly. Stars aren't born fully formed, Vespin. They emerge from pain and pressure, from the collision of elements. What's happening to Zora isn't destruction, it's creation. And I intend to help her shine. Transformation's edge. For 6 weeks, the hidden laboratory inside the asteroid became the center of an unlikely partnership. Maya worked tirelessly, designing prototype after prototype of neural interface components that could communicate between Zora's organic systems and the crystalline structures that continued their steady advance through her body. The pain is different today, Zora observed, seated at the molecular imaging station as Maya carefully attached sensor nodes along the boundary where cobalt skin met crystal. Less sharp, more resonant. Maya nodded, studying the readings. The preliminary interfaces are starting to establish connections. Your nervous system is beginning to recognize the crystalline pathways as extensions rather than invaders. What had begun as a clinical relationship had evolved into something neither had anticipated. A genuine collaboration. Zora's brilliant mind, educated in the finest institutions of the Alliance before her accident, quickly grasped the theoretical underpinnings of Maya's work. For her part, Maya found herself increasingly impressed by the alien woman's resilience and adaptability. Your uncle's representatives have requested another status update, reported Knox, the stone-faced security chief, who appeared silently at the laboratory entrance. The Dracovian's leathery features remained impassive, but concern flickered in his amber eyes. They're becoming more insistent. Zara didn't look up from the molecular models hovering above her workstation. Send them the same medical report as last month. No changes, no improvements. Continued isolation recommended. Knox nodded once and disappeared as silently as he had arrived. You can't avoid this confrontation forever, Maya said softly, adjusting a setting on the neural scanner. The interface system is progressing well, but your uncle is clearly suspicious. Drav has always been suspicious, Zora replied, wincing slightly as the scanner passed over a particularly sensitive area where crystal met flesh. He never believed my parents' death was an accident. Was it? Maya asked directly, something she'd wondered since learning the details of the lab accident that had killed the previous heads of Keth Industries and initiated Zora's transformation. Zara's crystalline hand closed into a fist, fractal patterns shifting with the motion. No, my parents had developed something revolutionary, quantum crystalline technology that could have changed everything from communication to medicine. But some on the Keth board believed it violated fundamental alliance restrictions on species integration technology. The same restrictions my research challenges, Maya noted. Precisely. Zara's voice hardened. The explosion was targeted, meant to destroy both my parents and their research. I survived only because I was in a shielded observation chamber, but the blast breached the containment field of the crystalline matrix they were developing. Maya set down her instruments, giving Zara her full attention. So the transformation isn't just some random accident. You were exposed to technology your parents created. Technology someone was willing to kill to suppress. Zara turned toward the viewport, the crystalline side of her face catching starlight. My uncle used my condition to take control, promising to protect me until I recovered. But he never expected recovery. He's been counting on the progression to eventually kill me. The implications settled heavily between them. Maya had known there were political dimensions to her work here, but not that she was potentially involved in unraveling a murder plot. We need to accelerate the interface development, Maya said decisively. Not just for your comfort now, but for your survival when your uncle realizes what we're doing. That night, as Maya worked late in the laboratory, Knox appeared again, this time with a warning. An unscheduled transport is approaching. Corporate security, not the regular medical supply ship. Maya quickly activated the lab's security protocols, concealing their most critical work. Does Zara know? Heir has been informed. She suggests you remain here while I handle the visitors. But something in the Dracovian's posture made Maya suspicious. What aren't you telling me? Knox's amber eyes met hers directly. The transport's authorization codes are legitimate, but the pattern of approach suggests deception. In my experience, this indicates a security breach. Sabotage, Maya concluded. Someone knows about our work. I have increased security around the laboratory and Heir's quarters. Knox turned to leave, then hesitated. Dr. Harrison, in the event that I do not return, there is an emergency protocol. Vespin knows the activation sequence. Before Maya could respond, the security chief was gone. She immediately returned to her workstation, backing up crucial data to secure storage devices she could conceal on her person if necessary. 8 years of Zara's isolation, of her uncle's patient plotting. It would all reach a critical point tonight. An hour later, alarms blared throughout the installation. Maya sealed the laboratory and hurried to Zara's quarters through emergency passages Vespin had shown her. She found the Heir already dressed in a protective bodysuit that accommodated her partially crystalline form. Corporate security forces have taken control of the docking bay, Zara said without preamble. Knox is engaging them, but he's outnumbered. We need to leave, Maya urged. Not without the interface prototypes, Zara insisted. Without them, I remain trapped in this half-state, vulnerable and dependent. A distant explosion shook the asteroid. Vespin burst in, antennae flat against their head in distress. The intruders have breached the main corridor. They're heading for the laboratory. Maya made a quick decision. The neural interface isn't complete, but the central component is functional. It could establish the primary integration pathways. Could. Vespin interjected. You would risk Heir's life on an untested prototype. The alternative is capture by those who want to ensure she never challenges her uncle's authority, Maya countered. She turned to Zara. The choice is yours, but we need to make it now. Zara's mismatched face, half cobalt, half crystal, set in a determined expression. Prepare the interface. If I am to face my uncle, I will do so neither as what I was nor as what his saboteurs intended me to become, but as what I choose to be. They raced back to the laboratory through shuddering corridors as the installation's security systems engaged in electronic warfare with the invaders. Once inside, Maya quickly prepared the neural interface, a delicate web of quantum-sensitive filaments designed to establish coherent communication between organic nervous systems and crystalline structures. This will hurt, she warned as she positioned the device at the base of Zora's skull, where the crystalline growth had just begun to approach her brainstem. And I can't predict exactly how your system will respond. Pain has been my constant companion for 8 years, Zora replied calmly. Proceed. Maya activated the interface. Zara's body went rigid, a silent scream frozen on her face as organic and crystalline systems attempted to establish coherent communication for the first time. The laboratory lights flickered as power surged through the installation. Biometric readings are spiking. Vespin cried, monitoring Zara's vital signs. Neural activity exceeds safe parameters, but Maya remained focused, adjusting the interface settings with precise movements. She's integrating. The crystalline structures are forming new pathways in response to the interface. For what seemed an eternity, Zara remained locked in silent agony. Then, gradually, her rigid posture relaxed. Her eyes opened, and Maya gasped. Both eyes now held an inner light, tiny fractal patterns swimming in the irises. "Zara," Maya whispered, "can you hear me?" When Zara spoke, her voice carried a subtle harmonic quality that hadn't been there before. "I hear you. I understand now." She looked down at her hands, one still cobalt blue, the other crystalline, and closed them both into fists. "The pain is gone, completely gone." The laboratory door blasted inward. Armed corporate security forces stormed in, weapons trained on them. Behind them strode a tall figure with the same cobalt skin as Zora's, but with cold calculation in his eyes. "Drav Keth. This illegal experimentation ends now," he announced. "My niece requires proper medical care, not dangerous procedures from discredited human scientists." Zara stood slowly, facing her uncle. As she moved, Maya noticed something extraordinary. The crystalline portions of her body shimmered with internal light, responding to her emotions. "Hello, Uncle," Zara said, her harmonically layered voice filling the room. "It's been 8 years since you arranged the accident that killed my parents and began my transformation. Did you imagine I would never discover the truth?" Drav's composure faltered momentarily before he recovered. "Your condition has clearly affected your mind. Security, detain the human and prepare the heir for transport to our medical facility." The security forces moved forward, but stopped abruptly when Zara raised her crystalline hand. The air around them seemed to vibrate, and their weapons suddenly disintegrated into component parts that clattered to the floor. "The quantum crystalline technology my parents developed wasn't just about material science," Zara explained, taking a step toward her stunned uncle. "It was about transcending limitations, the limitations of single species, of conventional matter, of traditional power structures." Maya watched in amazement as the crystalline portions of Zora's body pulsed with coherent energy. The neural interface had done more than bridge the gap between her organic and crystalline systems. It had fully integrated them, allowing Zara to access capabilities that neither system alone could achieve. "You fear what I've become," Zora continued, now standing directly before her uncle. "You should, but not because I seek revenge, Uncle, because I represent the future you tried to prevent, a future where boundaries between species, between organic and synthetic, become permeable, a future where power cannot be hoarded by those who cling to old divisions." Drav backed away, his security forces in disarray. "This transformation is an abomination. The Alliance will never accept you as the head of Keth Industries. Perhaps not as I am now," Zora agreed. "But they will listen to what I've become, because I offer something unprecedented, a bridge between worlds." She turned toward Maya, gratitude evident in her luminous eyes. "Dr. Harrison didn't cure me because I didn't need curing. She helped me complete what began 8 years ago, a transformation not into something less than I was, but into something more." In the days that followed, the news spread throughout the Alliance. Zara Keth had emerged from seclusion, dramatically transformed, but very much alive. The heir to Keth Industries presented herself to the Alliance Council not as a victim seeking sympathy, but as a pioneer representing new possibilities. Maya stood beside her at the historic council meeting, watching as Zara unveiled the truth about her parents' research and her uncle's betrayal. But more importantly, she demonstrated the potential of the quantum crystalline technology her body now embodied. Instantaneous communication across vast distances, interaction with both organic and synthetic systems, and manipulation of quantum states that could revolutionize everything from medicine to space travel. "You've changed more than just me," Zora told Maya privately, as they stood on the observation deck of Alliance headquarters, looking out at the galactic spiral. The crystalline portions of her body now formed beautiful patterns that complemented rather than disrupted her natural form, glowing with inner light that responded to her emotions. "You've changed what's possible." Maya smiled, taking the hand that was part crystal, part cobalt flesh. "I just helped you find the interface between what you were and what you could become. The real transformation came from your willingness to embrace it rather than fear it." "There are others like me out there," Zora said thoughtfully. "People caught between states, struggling with transformations they don't understand." "There are," Maya agreed. "On Earth, throughout the Alliance, beings who don't fit neatly into the categories we've defined." Zora's crystalline features shimmered with purpose. "Then that's our next project. Not just advancing the technology, but creating a place for those who exist at the boundaries." She squeezed Maya's hand gently. "For those who shine from within." Together they gazed out at the stars, no longer separated by species or form, but united by a vision of what could be. A universe where difference wasn't something to fear or hide, but something to integrate and celebrate, where pain could transform into possibility, and where those who had been forgotten could shine with their own inner light.